The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
This is Defining What Matters. A monthly discussion led by Bronx Community College President Carol Barot-Joseph that examines issues facing the college, the borough, the city, and the world.
Hello, and welcome to another conversation about the Bronx, Bronx Community College, and what matters to us both. When most people hear the word STEM, they think of a daffodil or a wine glass. But in the world of education, STEM is an acronym that stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. It is essential for the future of our country's economy that we have students majoring in these subjects today. And it is no less essential for many students because so many of the jobs of tomorrow will be in the STEM fields. At BCC, we have a very robust emphasis on STEM programs. I'll be talking to a current BCC STEM student and a recent graduate now working on her bachelor's degree in the field. But first, let's meet Dr. Neil Phillip. He's the chair of the Bronx Community College Chemistry Department, where he has taught for 14 years now. He's the perfect guide to help us explore the world of STEM in general and its role in the academic life of BCC in particular. Welcome to Defining What Matters, Dr. Phillip.
Thanks for having me on, President Joseph.
Yes, I suppose that we should begin by discussing what courses of studying in the STEM fields are offered by Bronx Community College.
Sure. We have traditional STEM departments. We have, for example, the chemistry department, which I chair. We offer chemistry majors. We have forensic science, earth science as well, environmental technology, pharmaceutical technology. We also offer geospatial technology very soon. We also have the biology department where we have different programs. We have 4 different programs there. We have biology majors, medical lab technology, ornamental horticulture majors, and animal care management majors. I go to the physics department next. We offer physics majors, engineering science, nuclear medicine technology, and automotive technology. I know you came from Mass Bay where they have a great program in automotive technology.
Absolutely.
But we are coming very close behind.
Yes, this is very impressive. What does BCC have to offer a prospective student interested in a STEM in a STEM major?
Sure, we have lots to offer many students. I hope they come here. We have, again, high professor to student ratio. So as a student at City College, I was in a class of 200 students. You get lost in the shuffle. You come to Bronx, you have a small ratio of faculty, so professors get to know who you are. We also have very caring faculty members, and when you leave Bronx Community College, we don't cut the umbilical cord and say bye. We always bring them back and engage them and maybe get them jobs or have them come back as faculty members once they're qualified. But we are becoming known for internships. We have a lot of internship opportunities for students. We have the STEM-H program, which we started with President Matos and President Fernandez from Lehman College and President Provost Racklin at the time, and that's a great program. It gives the students a chance to come to Lehman College from Hostess and from Bronx to Lehman and get involved in high-tech research. And in fact, one of our students even published a paper. He got a paper submitted to a very prestigious journal recently.
So that's wonderful. Another interesting aspect of our STEM programs are the opportunities they give students to travel abroad. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have quite a robust study abroad program in collaboration with the International Study Education Department at Bronx. We took our students, for example, last April to South Africa, 3 students with Dr. Therese, and where the students had a chance to build a solar panel for Wilberforce Community College in South Africa. And normally in the wintertime, those students it's very cold in South Africa, that part of South Africa, and they don't have any heat. So our students were able to build that solar panel to enable those students to keep warm in the wintertime in South Africa. We also have a good collaboration with Australia, Townsville, Australia. We had a mayor from Townsville, Australia come to Bronx and as part of an IBM Smart City initiative, and we kind of paid a visit to them, and we have developed a lot of collaborations with these towns in Australia. We have things going on in Belize. Dr. Sheldon Skaggs from the chemistry department is working on the mine ruins in Belize. He's going to take 3 students in the summertime. We have the AMP Explorers Club as well, where we take students to Colombia and to Ecuador to work on different environmental projects. So we have a lot. We offer students a lot of opportunities, and I hope they come to Bronx to take advantage of that.
So how would you describe the typical STEM student?
Well, I think there's no typical STEM student at Bronx. Students come from 101 different countries, from all walks of life, all backgrounds. And the student can come from Dominican Republic, for example. We have many students in Dominican Republic, or from Africa, or from the Caribbean. But one thing that makes one common thread among all these students, they're very resilient. They're willing to learn. I mean, they're they go through a very rigorous program at Bronx, and they're all willing to learn. We have an AMP program, Alliance for Minority Participation program, where we try to encourage more minority students to get into sciences. And we have an AMP coordinator who coordinates that activity. And we offer many different opportunities for the students to get involved in STEM research.
Well, you certainly make the case for all that BCC has already accomplished in the STEM field.
Right.
But what about the future of those programs? Do they promise to be more innovative and creative and exciting?
Absolutely. We have a bright future ahead of our president. We have Snow House. We have the Center for Sustainable Energy on our campus, which was created by Congressman Serrano in collaboration with the campus some years ago. And we have a renewed emphasis on doing things in biofuels, for example. We have the director who we hired a year ago, Dr. Aaron Socher, is an expert in the country on biofuels and biodiesel testing. So we're going to push the center into that direction to have more biofuels. We also apply for a grant from the state of New York, CUNY 2020, where we're going to reposition our automotive program to deal with electric vehicles. We want to train the next generation of people to deal with these high-powered and innovative technologies that's coming on board.
So it sounds like STEM isn't just revolutionizing Bronx Community College, it's also going to impact the community in the Bronx as well, with collaboratives with the Shimatsu, for example, company, as well as Startup New York, which we are leading on. I think there'll be more opportunities for our students to be able to participate in these STEM-related technological developments. When we return, we'll meet a BCC student currently studying in one of our STEM programs and a recent graduate on her way to bigger and better things.
You got to learn your body, pace yourself, and have fun. So let's go have fun. Let's go do it.
The tricky thing about shoulders, your shoulders is a 3-tier muscle. You have your front delts, you have your rear delts, and you have your mid delts. So when you're working out your shoulders properly, you have to do 3 different exercises.
It's wonderful being able to compete with a lot of these young guys from all over the world. It's important to stay in shape.
So you heard of the Chewbacca fish?
Yeah. Chewbacca who?
Well, you heard of the Chewbacca fish, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And just so the people at home know, describe it real quick for us.
Describe what?
A fish that flies out of the water, like almost like a rocket. It goes like 12 feet in the air, and then what happens is it comes back down before it hits the water. It like flies into people's neck and like starts biting you in the neck and in the face.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it's out there, I'm gonna catch it on camera because I've been out here with my camera for years.
You know how the Chewbacca fish works? What happens is it shoots it like rockets out of the water like 5 feet in the air, and then as it jumps, it jumps, and then what happens like 5 feet in the air, comes down, right before it hits the water, it does a psych, and one of these moves and flies into your neck and starts like biting you and stuff.
Nah, they don't have the fish like that out here, do they?
Yeah, it's the Chewbacca fish. That's what
they have it out here in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then what happens is right before it comes and hits the water.
Yeah, he tried to hit somebody.
Exactly.
Llegaron los caballos. ¡Huépame! Mira, yo te vi con ese teléfono.
It was a good conversation because it led people who didn't know, I knew stuff about gun violence, but it led to the students who didn't know stuff about gun violence to actually know more.
Can gun violence be stopped was not only the theme of Bronx Community College's first lecture series of the year held at Gould Memorial Library. It's an issue that has galvanized the whole nation, still reeling from the Newtown massacre. 20 children at Sandy Hook Elementary School were gunned down by a lone shooter along with 6 faculty members.
Hopefully there'll be more lectures like this so that we could bring awareness to our community.
Expert panelists included Gloria Cruz, founder of the Bronx chapter of New Yorkers Against Violence, Sharik Abdusabar, chairman of the National Association of Black Law Enforcement Officers. Also included Philip Thompson, campaign manager with the Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence, and Bronx-born and raised Adam Levy, now a DA in Putnam County.
We got to get the police, we got to get the communities working together.
Panelists responded to the need for better laws and background checks, with others calling for a shift in how our culture addresses everyday disputes.
The bottom line is that we have to change the way we interact with each other. So we've got to raise our level of tenderness, appreciation, and respect.
Meanwhile, a moderator for the panel, New York City Deputy Mayor Carol Robles Roman, says the city is very clear in its position when it comes to preventing gun violence.
We need to get guns off the street. We need to get illegal guns out of in places where young children can have access to them. Everyone's got to be part of the solution. I can't say you're in charge, you fix it, or you fix it. We all have to kind of hold that mirror up to ourselves and identify what's the role I have to play.
Meanwhile, Putnam DA Levy wants to see all parties voice their concerns.
I think that what we're running into on a national level and on a state level is people trying to fix it all at the same time. I would be much more in favor of taking it piece by piece, and I think you start off with what everyone could agree on, or the most people could agree on, which would be universal background checks.
In building the college's criminal justice department, President Carol Barot-Yosef feels this discussion is one that will continue for some time.
There is a need for us to organize, a need for us to educate, and if we don't do that, we will not be able to solve this problem.
Gloria Cruz, who knows firsthand about random violence after losing her 10-year-old niece to gunfire, says the parents can make a difference by reaching out to one another.
Certain things that we can do as a community to be part of the solution, and it is to start owning each other's faults and try to work together and try to get our youth to stop fighting each other.
Most agree that there are no easy answers here, but Deputy Mayor Roman shared that what's clear to her is that a holistic approach is needed in this gun debate. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Welcome back to Defining What Matters, where our topic this month is Bronx Community College's STEM programs. That means science, technology, engineering, and math. We began by talking with Dr. Neil Phillip of the BCC Chemistry Department, and he's now joined by one of his current students and a former student. Dr. Phillip, perhaps you could introduce our new guests?
Sure. I have Kamika Deans, one of our STEM scholars, who's now a student of Lehman College and former chemistry major, right next to me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. And I have Emmanuel Boabang. Emmanuel is also one of the STEM scholars, who I mentioned published a paper recently, and he's a current student at chemistry department at BCC.
Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into BCC's STEM program. We'll start with you, Kamika.
Thanks again for having me, President Joseph.
Yes, my pleasure.
I was born and raised in Jamaica, where I went to high school there. Unfortunately, I was unable to complete high school, but, you know, I didn't allow that to stop me. So I studied independently, sit my standardized exams, and I was accepted into nursing school there. So in nursing school there, I studied midwifery, and I practiced for 5 years prior to migrating to the United States. Now, upon coming here, due to location, you know, Bronx Community College was more suitable, so I came to Bronx Community College. I had a long interest in science, so I chose chemistry as my major. And upon my second semester, I met Dr. Neil Phillip upon advisement, because he was the chair for the chemistry department. And he was the one who pretty much introduced me to research. And I was amazed, you know, I loved the experience and the opportunity. I was awarded as one of 4 of the CUNY STEM Scholars for 2012 summer, and it was an amazing experience. I learned so much, you know, from that experience.
Wow. And what brought you to BCC STEM programs, Emmanuel?
Thank you. Back home in Ghana, I was in University of Science and Technology. I was studying chemistry. And thereafter, I worked as a lab technician for 3 years, and I moved into the States. So when I arrived in the States, I was planning to be a pharmacist. So I decided to come to BCC and take some courses, and thereafter I can transfer to the pharmacy school. There where I met Dr. Phil, where he also advised me and make some recommendation, and based on that I applied into the liberal arts and science, and I studied over there, and I'm still even in BCC. And in BCC I've received a lot of scholarship and a lot of awards, where being Best International Student, that was the spring 2013, and through that I've really received a lot of, and I'm really appreciate it.
I understand that both of you were involved in the summer program of research at Lehman College after your first year at BCC. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Kamika?
Sure. I had a wonderful experience, you know, working with Dr. Thomas Young and Dr. Gustavo Lopez in Lehman College. I worked on computational drug design, where I actually tried to design a molecule to help to fight against Alzheimer's disease. And that was a very interesting program.
Wow. And how about you, Emmanuel?
During the summer 2012, I had opportunity to work with Dr. Naftali O'Connor, and our research was based on hydrogels. That is a ways and means of drug delivery. And this paper or this research it has been published in one of the journals, and it was very good because we have actually realized that if we are able to change the shape of this hydrogel, we can deliver drug in any part of our body.
Wow.
And it's very essential.
Wow. So the students at BCC in our STEM programs aren't just studying science, you're actually doing science.
Yeah.
So what are some of the aspects of your education at BCC that you particularly valued, Kamika?
Okay, well, I must say there's a lot. But to start with, one of the most important things for me was the professor-to-students relationship. It's a real good community experience there. You know, the professors are always willing to give advice, you know, my mentor, Dr. Neil Phillip, as well as, you know, Dr. Charles Maliti. You know, that experience was wonderful to me. And also the scholarship opportunities. You know, I received LSAM scholarship, which is Louis Stokes Alliance for minority participation. I also received NSF scholarship, the National Science Fund scholarship, and that was very helpful to me because I have a 11-year-old, and you know, the assistance with the money, of course, was very helpful. So,
are you a role model for your daughter?
Yes, definitely. She's very interested in science. You know, she even came with me to BCC on a science fair, and you know, she was very helpful there, organizing and all of that.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So, Emmanuel, what do you especially appreciate about your BCC education?
thanks. I've really received a lot of, because being international students, I mean, a lot of things that you have to pay, like tuition fee and stuff like that. But through the networking, I was able to get an appointment as a bio and chemistry tutor, and through that, I received a lot of money to pay off my tuition. And I was saying that BCC has really helped me a lot in this area.
Wonderful. And Kamika, I understand that you're also a Phi Theta Kappa member. So what are your plans, from here?
Okay, well, sure, I'm a Phi Theta Kappa member, and I also still tutor at BCC. I tutor in the chemistry department, and while I was there, I used to tutor in mathematics as well. So now I am a pre-med student here at Lehman College, where I major in chemistry with biochemistry specialization. So I'm planning to sit my MCAT this year and apply to medical school next year.
Wonderful. So in a sense, you're going to be returning to what you did before in the field where you started as a midwife, but at a higher level.
Sure. I love maternal child health care, so I definitely want to continue in the field of obstetrics and gynecology.
Wonderful. And how about you, Emmanuel?
I'm planning to graduate this spring 2014, and I'll be going to University of Texas in Houston to study fuel cells and battery technology, and where I plan to have my PhD in chemistry. In the long run, I want to be a research scientist in the future.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we look forward to welcoming you back to BCC. I wish both of you lots of luck in those really very interesting and ambitious plans. And Dr. Phillip, if someone wants to find out more about the STEM fields at BCC, where can they get some information?
They can go to the website, www.bcc.cuny.edu, or they can also call the office in chemistry department, 718-289-5569. I'll be welcome to help them in any way possible.
Wonderful. And with that, I thank you all for being on the program, Defining What Matters. I thank all of you for watching. And if you want further information about any of the courses of study at Bronx Community College, please go to our website, www.bcc.cuny.edu. And I do hope you join us for our next program. Goodbye.
Irish pride is in abundance here today at the 27th annual St. Patrick's Luncheon and Award Ceremony here at Bronx Community College.
We come here annually to celebrate our Irish heritage and culture as we recognize the contributions and achievements of our distinguished honorees. This year we're very privileged and fortunate to honor Father James Coy Sheehan, our campus minister. Father James.
You never give an Irishman a microphone. The amazing story about this event is it was an introduction to me of an ability to reflect on the immigrant experience from both an academic and a cultural viewpoint.
Soldiers are we, whose lives are pledged to Ireland.
We have a special treat today. We have the Celtic Dreams dancers.
Never been to the Bronx before, and I was placed in a school in the Bronx Public School 59, and the children one day said, well, why do you speak funny? And I said, well, I'm from Ireland. And they said, well, can you show us a few Irish dance steps? Because they saw the pictures of Riverdance around the classroom. And I said, well, I'll show you a few steps of what I remember. They learned it. They were so quick, automatic, they picked it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you our star, Bronx Irish-American son, Derek Woods, our community honoree.
We, as the first generation and second generation, the lessons were learned. What our parents gave us was this: work hard, work very hard, provide for your family. And certainly as I stand here today, with my mom and dad looking down, I think the lesson has been learned, certainly, by myself and so many Irish Americans. It's an incredible honor to be honored both as a Bronxite and as an Irish American, and certainly here on this magnificent campus of Bronx Community College. You know, I've covered this for BronxNet for many, many years, and to be honored this way is just an overwhelming feeling.
St. Patrick's Day is always a special time of the year for the Irish, especially here in the Bronx. Today's guests ate delicious corned beef and cabbage, listened to traditional Irish folk songs, and watched beautifully performed Celtic dancing. Reporting for BronxNet, this is Christopher Figueroa.
When they showed excerpts of the Bronx in a minute and a half, what they essentially did was they disrespected us in the Bronx. They erased 2.5 decades of hard work by elected officials, by community leaders, community organizations. We're so tired of being depicted in a negative light. There's so much wonderful things happening here, from our cultural institutions to our parks, our beach, our restaurants, and that's what we want people in the world to see.
The Bronx, 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 the Bronx.
Here to take you on a journey, tell you where I'm from. Yeah, the boogie down Bronx like Harris won. Let's start a revolution and shine like the sun. This is a movement, I march to the drum. Who doesn't know the Yankees, the great franchise, and the pioneers of hip-hop, the Furious Five. We built to survive, see the fire in my eyes. Take a walk in the X, feel the streets come alive. Forward them the point, see I'm proving my point. Grand Concourse, Sound View, let's rejoice. Feel the vibe in my voice, I do this for the people. The home of the best, headlines for the press.
B to the O, to the O, to the X, to the B, to the O, to the O, and X, to the B, to the O, to the O, and X, to the B, to the O, to the O,
The world revolves around the Bronx. They just don't know it. So we made it a hot song for the people to take notice. Some of the most influential people came from this borough, like Colin Powell, Ralph Lauren, and Al Pacino. Who doesn't enjoy a good book from Edgar Allan Poe? Or how about some good music from Luther Vandross? You can be who you want to be if you from out here. Supreme Court judge, like Sonia Sotomayor. There may be struggles, but there's love in my borough. And if you're from here, anywhere else you're thorough. We some hard-working people in a city that never sleeps. And we started the music where the world moves their feet.
B to the O, to the O, to the X.
Whenever somebody speaks negatively of the borough, defend your borough. Defend where we come from. Defend how beautiful it is. Defend all of the assets that we have here.
I've always been annoyed by the people who say, oh, the Bronx. It just annoys me. It still annoys me. And I say there are 3 places in the world with "the" in front of them: the Vatican, the Hague, and the Bronx.
The Bronx and I have been through some bad times and some good times, and boy, the good times are definitely here.
Be proud of where you came from, because I always was. Everybody, I think a lot of people are like, oh well, I'm from, and they always make something up. I was always proud of where I was from, and always came back home.
It's always wonderful to come back to the Bronx. You know, before I was Maria from Sesame Street, I like to tell people I was Sonia from the Bronx, and I just love to come back and see it growing and changing the way it has been.
Because you got a lot of guys coming up now, thinking that they rapping or thinking that they really doing something. And if you lived in the Bronx, if you're supposed to be talking about the streets that you grew up in, if you didn't write nothing about that Bronx Zoo, and if you didn't write nothing about that beloved Yankee Stadium, then you definitely wasn't rapping about or representing the Bronx where I come from. So long live the Bronx.
I do have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but the Bronx Walk of Fame means a heck of a lot more than that for me.